You're listening to Lyfe and Shyt. I'm Daneyel Walker.
And I'm Tommy Walker.
Join us as we talk about our journey overcoming fears, boundaries, marriage, family, lifestyle, business, and whatever other shit you can think of.
We're individuals that came together to create one unit with one mind and one goal. Welcome to another beautiful day.
Why, thank you.
Wait, what would you about to say?
Just, hey, baby. I'm all, almost.
My baby.
I love you.
I love you, girl. What's going on?
What's going on is it's just one of those, good days. Busy, crazy.
Yeah.
What about you? It was different for you, huh? You had to be at the cafe.
I was a barista today.
Yes.
I was making vanilla lattes and Mexican mochas.
Chefing.
Oh, man. I was
making breakfast sandwiches and toast and whatnots.
I was going in.
That's what's up.
Today was a good day.
How did it feel being behind the bar?
My feet don't hurt.
Oh, that's good. That means you got good shoes.
Yeah.
Right?
And then the mats work out.
That's true, too.
It was good shit.
Being a barista is just like being a bartender, right? But in the daytime.
Exactly.
Because people come in, and especially when you have, that's why I feel like it's important for coffee shops to have that like stool, the two stools that are right at the bar, because it's for people who want to get personal with the barista, and it's for, that's always important. You know that.
The therapy stools.
Yep. So I'm like, we gotta have it. And then our cafe was like, we're not gonna have enough space for that. I'm like, yes, we will. Watch.
You sure as hell squeeze in there. It worked out. Nice little stools. Yeah.
So it's like therapy. Even when you're ordering the drink, you're like, well, what do you like? And then people start to think like, oh, well, when I was young, I used to drink this, and so I love that.
I got a very serious question for you.
Okay.
Who the fuck is Bob?
You have a serious question for me?
Yeah.
Is it like Bob is your uncle? You remember that?
I don't know. You just been talking about Bob, and I was like, who the fuck is Bob? Why Bob?
So it's not like Bobby's your uncle, guys. That's a saying that an old boss of mine used to say all the time. Is and then you're golden, Danny. Bob's your uncle, and I was like, what does that mean? He's like, well, everybody's got an uncle named Bob, right? But no, not this Bob.
Wait, I got an uncle named Bob. Yeah, so
yeah, but he's not the one that gives you the connections. And so it's like
Bob. What kind of connections you need? Uncle Bob got.
True.
Uncle Bob got some different kind of connections.
True. So then you'd say, if you need this, then boom, Bob's your uncle. You got it. But Bob is a battery operated boyfriend.
Okay.
Boy on the side. I don't know.
A robot, a gadget.
It's a
device.
Gadget. It is a battery operated gadget that is built for something.
Okay. All right.
Something or another. Something to replace something that a human could do.
So I ain't got nothing to worry about. All right. Cool. Yeah, so today we talk about robots, gadgets, artificial intelligence, all kinds of shit that's out there that we utilize to make our lives better, huh? So
yeah, it sounded like you already knew what Bob was.
So it's because I've heard, I'm like, what the fuck is Bob? You said, you're like, who's Bob? I'm like, Bob, what the fuck is Bob? What it sounds like is that there are some Bobs out there, and Bob
a lot of Bobs.
Bob's is evolved.
Yeah,
it's the evolution of Bobs.
This is real.
And it's come a long way, right?
Yeah,
it's come a very long way.
Yeah, we're talking about robots today, ladies and gentlemen. And when you talk about robots, I always think of like, what was the robot movie that came out? I don't even know why I wasn't thinking about it. It was like
iRobot?
No. It had the big eyes. It'll come back to me. It's like one of the first robot movies that I ever seen, and it's the first thing that I think of.
You talking about way back in the 80s?
Yeah.
You talking
Not
about
like WALL-E, but nope. Remember, it was the little robot, and it was like I have to think about it. Yeah. Old school. It had the two big eyes, and it was chasing. I have to look it up. It's gonna bug me now. But I think of old school robots like that, right?
All right. Gotta finish your
WALL-E.
thought. I'll look it up.
Yeah, WALL-E is another one. But this one was, it was a really, really good one. But things like Tesla is they're that's like a robot type thing, right? Siri's is AI and robot, like, you know. And Alexa, like the other day I was in the kitchen and I was listening to something else, and all of a sudden Alexa clicked on, right, and started telling me about something, and I'm like, stop Alexa, stop, and she just wouldn't stop. And I'm like, Alexa, stop. Like I found myself getting upset at the damn, basically, the computer, right? It wouldn't. I unplugged it. I had to unplug it because it just kept on rattling off about how to do something, and I was just like, no. Did you find it yet, babe?
Nah. So, and that's the thing. So we've been dealing with robots, and all right. So the reason why we're talking about this today is because, you know, artificial intelligence has evolved. So like everybody's talking about chat. Well, I ain't gonna say everybody, but a lot of people are talking
Short
about
circuit.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I remember that.
Yep. Sorry.
So people are talking about Chat GPT nowadays. People are talking about some are talking about Tommy, Dali. There's a lot of artificial intelligence software that's out there right now, and people are scared, like, or you know, or people are just told like, what the fuck, or what's going to happen. And you know, we've had these conversations for a long time as humans, like, oh, robots is going to take over, robots is going to do this. But you got to think about, we've been using robots for a fucking long time.
Yeah, that's real.
Like, go back to like your vacuum cleaner is a robot. You know what I mean? You look at some people, especially that live outside of the United States. They don't have vacuum cleaners.
This is real.
If you look at outside the United States, they don't. There's a lot of places where they don't have smartphones and smart watches and all this other stuff that we utilize. We've been utilizing this stuff forever.
Yeah, like maps and navigation is another thing that we've been using forever as far as like a robot goes. Like it's been telling us turn left here, turn right there for a long time, and we don't really think about it. And then facial like detection and recognition.
That was mind blowing
from our phones. Even that's like one of those crazy things. Automated like correction, like when you type something and it's like, no, you should type this. Like that's pretty creepy if you think about it, you know. But we get so used to it, you know. And the auto text,
I find that annoying.
Like, what about the auto text too? It's just like you put hello and then it says how are you, or you know what I mean? It's like you should say this next, or you know, it knows what you would say, because like I say hope all is well with you, and so it pops up like hope all, and then it say is well, and then I say, and then it says with you. I'm like, oh shit, like it's not only knows me, but it's remembering me, right?
It's learning you. Yeah. So and that's the thing about, you know, the technology today, because people, one of the biggest things that we talk about as human beings is replacement. As humans, we don't want to be replaced. But, you know, if you think about back in the days, like, we just had a conversation with our producer, and he was saying how blacksmith jobs went away when the car was made. But you think about all the warehouses and the manufacturing companies that were created. It takes blacksmiths to build that stuff, right?
Yeah, so it's true.
All it is a pivot in what you currently do. And that's one of the things about technology is, and I've said this before on another podcast, is, you know, you got to stay ahead. Like I told the kids, artificial, you know, reality. And now artificial intelligence is really like, oh, shit.
Yeah, it's like grow with the curve. Otherwise, the curve will just keep on growing without you, right? It's like car mechanics. You know, now they call them like engineers, like car engineers, right?
Car mechanics, it's not really like computer guys.
You have to be able to know how to run a computer. And, you know, if you would have told Uncle Bob that back in the day, you know, he's got on his overalls and his, you know, and his hands are greasy. Like, I mean, his hands are so greasy you can't even wash the grease off of him anymore. You know, if you'd have told him that he's going to have to learn computers in about 10, 15 years, he'd have been like, I'm out the business, you know?
So that's my Uncle Daryl. So, because my Uncle Daryl is like that. I mean, like hardcore mechanic, been like that. My pops loved to tell the story about him bringing an engine into the room. Like this dude took an engine out of a car, put it in the room, was working on it. Now, that same mechanic has, and you know, he's older. That same mechanic needs to understand technology today and work on cars today.
Yeah, and in a sense, it's taking away their love, which is tinkering with things, right? Taking things apart with their hands and then putting it back together. You know, seeing how things work by like digging into it and not like computerized looking at it, you know, behind a desk and sitting there. They're more active type learners and doers, which then makes their job like obsolete. I
mean, now you know, I think as humans we always got to find a reason to complain about something. But if you really think about the entertainment space, how much fun we've had because of robots. You know what I mean? Like
it's true.
Like if you go to your favorite theme park, that shit is nothing but a robot.
That is true.
You know what I
and
mean?
it just gets better
It gets
and better.
better
That's so
and better.
true. You're not lying. I'm like, this is amazing.
You know,
right?
so as humans, we're like, yo, all right, check this out. We like robots, but we don't like robots.
Oh, that's true.
and I get the job, like when people say, like, oh, it's gonna replace these jobs. And yes, it has replaced some jobs. Like even if you go into the grocery stores, it's not as many cashiers, right? Because you got self-checkout. And you feel like, unfortunately, it was a human that walked in and said, I could do this faster if I did it myself.
Yeah.
And it's not like there's a robot bagging stuff for us, but no, it's just a robot scanner, and we're going in and doing the work ourselves.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like the comedian I heard, and he said, like, you know, so I'm supposed to bag my own. I'm supposed to check it first off. I'm gonna put the code in, and I got to bag my stuff too, right? Like, I never applied for this job. You know that, right? Like, I don't get no discount off, nothing,
So
right?
you're the one that's gonna wait in the line.
Yes. Yeah. When I shop for the cafe in the morning time, they will tell you, oh, go ahead and use the self-checkout. I'm sorry. No. I'm not going to use the self-checkout.
I've been waiting all morning to go talk to somebody.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to stand here and look up all these codes. I have a ton of produce. You know what I mean? Like, I have to look up each one of those codes. No, you're going to do that because that's your job. And you should feel happy and proud to, because otherwise they don't need you, right? Yeah, like, okay, ma'am, I don't say all that, of course, but I do say, no, I don't want to go there. I like to go to the actual check stand. And they do say, and I will be honest, I got that from someone who did it before me. And of course, it was a woman of privilege who was like, I didn't know that was an option. I didn't know you could say no. But yes, you can say no. I would like a cashier, please.
I want somebody to help me.
You know what else is cool? Or something back in the day that was super, super robot, but I never even thought about it until like when we talked about it. Weird Science, right? Remember that? I actually had you watch that movie with me. One of my favorite movies as a kid. But it's my favorite movie because these kids, they build their like a woman, right?
That's right. That's right. I do remember that. Yeah.
It's my favorite movie because it makes them cool. They grow her breasts. Remember, it's like, I mean, and that's now happening too.
And that movie, that was like a 80s movie. So just thinking about it, we've been talking about this since forever.
Yep.
Right. And now it's actually reality.
Shit.
You know.
Yep.
And you got, I mean, of course you got companies like Tesla and everybody else that's out there that's building like actual robots that they feel like. Now imagine, right? You have an actual robot that's in your house that's helping you out, and people are scared about AI and like we watched a movie yesterday. We was watching a movie. I think it was like Free Guy or some shit like that on Netflix.
Oh yeah, Free Guy.
And artificial intelligence eventually becomes independent. That's what we're all scared of, right? Like, don't, like, it's cool if I can tell you what to do.
So you don't want a Sophia in your house, babe?
Don't be independent.
That was made by Hanson Robotics. It's like someone, so like, and you know, she was made. First off, she is a she. Okay, there's that point, right, that part.
Now we're giving them gender roles.
Yeah, and then you know that it was created by a male, more likely, and it was she is inspired to look like Audrey Hepburn.
I have no idea who that is.
She's a famous Hollywood actress.
Okay.
So of course she's quote unquote pretty, right?
According to Hollywood standards.
She was trained to look after elderly people though, and I think that's pretty dope because if you have a parent that is sick and you can't be there to take care of them, then perhaps you could have someone like this automated robot there, and you can kind of check in with that robot day to day and see what's going on.
So when you say that, I think of that movie we seen, Megan, where where the lady, like, she created this robot and then she had to go take care of this kid, and instead of her taking care of the kid, the robot
That
did.
is exactly like that is. That is so true.
Exactly. So
yeah, but that's a kid though. You know what I mean? That's different. I think those responsibilities should be taken care of by a parent, right? But and as someone who's sick and needs the basic day-to-day needs, and it's the same thing like a sponge bath or this or that. Like you don't necessarily necessarily have to like teach or anything like that for someone. You just have to care for. I think that's something different. Now, when you're depending on that person to raise a human, you never know how that person's going to come out, right? Like, you don't know what this.
Yeah. Hey, the cycle of life. You become a kid twice. Right?
Yeah.
That's the cycle of life.
That's right. They also have another. It's a humanoid robot, right? That was also created by Hanson Robotics, and she's a sibling of Sophia, and then she's created to speak spoken word and poetry. I think that's pretty dope. And she responds to cultural like references and music.
so she says everything the correct way. She's politically correct. So the crazy thing is like that you say that is because they kind of have an idea, right? Like the internet is talking, and when the internet is talking, people think like, all right, when robots are full throttle, artificial intelligence is rocking and rolling at a very high level. The potential jobs that can go away is stuff like taxi drivers, like just regular drivers, period. Which in our business, I mean, we're in transportation. That's something that we got to think about. If we're in that business for that long, where potentially drivers can be replaced, how do we pivot? And then they said soldiers could be, and which you can already kind of see, because
pilots are already kind of being replaced with drones, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you got a drone that could be accurate, as what they say, accurate as hell, what kind of soldier could you put in the battlefield, on the front line? But then when robots are fighting robots, then it's
different.
Who's
right?
the smartest robot?
Yeah, basically.
And the dude in the office is whatever president is fighting each other. Like, y'all should just go out there and box.
You just talk about Terminator now. Is someone gonna come back and tell us about this?
Real shit. If they saying, like, this is my thing. If you're gonna replace soldiers, right, and soldiers sign up in America they sign up. Everywhere else you get drafted for the most part, right?
Yeah, or it's requirement, right? Like some places after high school, it's a requirement to go, which makes sense. I mean, they got a lot of soldiers, just saying.
But if you put robot soldiers on the front line, that means whoever's in charge of the country should just go out there and box. That's what I think. Like they should just go to because at the end of the day, it's just gonna be a bunch of machines dead in the field.
That's funny. You talk about the technical parts of the replacements, which, I mean, having robots instead of our people out there, our men or women, I don't know if I'm against that. So that's like one that's debatable, I think. But another field that could potentially be wiped out is like artists, right, and writers, because things like these chatbots that they have now, you can basically type in whatever prompt that you want, and even with and you alluded to in the beginning, all these different things but if you even want to kind of go back over and talk more about these things, because a lot of people don't know about Ali or Dale, right? Dolly.
You
I mixed them both.
You name it.
I put them all together.
Yeah.
Dolly. It's Dolly, right?
Yeah, Dolly.
Dolly.
Yeah. Yep.
So
1,000%. And good point, because I've been talking like I exposed this to the team, and I'm like, yo, this is what people are using out there. So ChatGPT, there's a lot of marketing companies that's talking about it right now. Dolly is a software that you could use a prompt, and it's funny because I was talking to one of our team members, and they was like, well, what's a prompt,
right?
And I was like, damn, that goes back to the old Macintosh days.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? It's like the way we used to use computers back in the 80s and early 90s was you had to prompt it to do something. And all it is now, it's just reverse. It's coming back. So you prompt it, and then you get this digital image.
Yeah, and then back in the days, remember you had to be prompted up to go talk to that girl? Like the same thing. That's how I explained it.
She threw me off with that one. She threw me off with that one, y'all. You got to be prompted up. When I think of propped up, I think of Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh, Lord. That's propped up. It's a little different.
Oh man, you gotta be prompt up to go talk to that girl. You know what? All right, that's how I got you, goddamn it. I was prompt. I could dig it.
So she didn't know what prompt meant.
Nah, she didn't know what a prompt was. Had to talk to her about it, and then you have software out there like a Tommy, TOME.app, and it builds presentations. Like it's a trip that all the software is out there now, and leveraging it. When it comes to technology, you got to be able to leverage. Don't be scared of it. You got to, and that's the really the value that I want to add here is it's not about being scared of it. You leverage it because no matter what field you're in, no matter what industry, even like how you said as a writer, that there's people that build it. And then there's people that have to keep it going. And then there's people that could leverage it and become better. And that's really that's all it is.
Yep. I love it.
It makes you faster, smart. I ain't gonna say it makes you smarter. It makes you more lazier, but it definitely makes you more efficient.
It's sort of kind of a little more smarter. You got to think of some hellified prompts, right? And then people have created jobs off of it, so that makes you smarter as well. It's like, well, shit, you know what? I could do this or I could do that to build. I've heard of tons of jobs coming up. I'm like, well, shit, I want to be a freelance writer or do blogs, and that would be an amazing. I could get stuck with writer's block. Perhaps you don't want to have someone write it for you, but kind of wiggle you free from that block, maybe. Then boom, even and I said it, our artist basically going to be wiped out. But no, nothing is like that artistic look or feel, right? A computer can't give you that.
No.
Yeah, they can give you a different view, a different type of an outlook on it, but it's nothing like the artist's eye. And from what I've seen so far, I don't believe that, it would be able to replace that. I don't think so.
No, not at all. Not at all. Driving, yeah. Tesla, the auto drive, still not. I mean, and then everything is in beta mode, right?
Yeah.
But what's funny is how people say, "Oh, I would never do that." Like I remember when Uber first came out, and people was like, "I would never get in a car with a stranger."
It's true.
You got strangers dropping groceries off at your house now.
Yeah, for your food too. Oh, I don't want nobody touching my food. Like, Bill Gates said robotics and other combinations will make the world pretty fantastic compared to today. And I agree. And that was a quote that was said almost more than 5-10 years ago. So just imagine where it will take us.
Yeah, and then you got to think about, and especially talk about Bill Gates because you talk about environment and stuff like that. These guys. All of these machines will have an environmental impact, and it's one of our things, especially at the Mental Bar, where environment is kind of one of our core values, and
it is.
We try and be environmentally responsible as possible. And as we continue to evolve and use, robots to be more conservative in our energy consumption, it's like even if you get like these home like the Nest, right? It's supposed to help you with making sure that your home energy consumption is more balanced. It's like all these different things that's out there that you're trying to be conservative and trying to do the right thing, but at the same time on the reverse, it is fucking up the environment at the same time because of what it takes to build it and then what it takes to destroy it at the same time. So
that's a great point.
So at the end of the day, we just got to be mindful, and it's always got to be a balance of everything that we're doing. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, some of us is afraid. If you're afraid, have a conversation with people that are using it, learn about it, get into it. If anything, dive face, what is it, head first? Dive head first into it and understand it before you pass a judgment on it. And those that are all in on it, just make sure that we don't overindulge because, at the end of the day, humanity still is a very important portion of what we do.
Right. It's like you don't want robots to do everything, right? At the end of the day, and I've seen this reference many times, but it's true. The Jetsons, and I mean, we watched the Jetsons when we were kids, right? And they had someone working them out on TV. They were able to order their food with a push of a button. They had a housekeeper that was cleaning their house automatically. All these things that are now actually coming to be. Pretty soon we'll just move up to better weather, right? Because that was a thing. Like that's pretty fucking awesome.
That was dope. I think that was was the
it's
coolest
rainy.
thing.
It's like,
Move
like it
above
makes
the
me want to
clouds.
watch the Jetsons again just to see like what else could we do, you know?
Real shit.
But at the end of the day, though, we still want to be able to have the human touch on certain things. Even if I have a drink made at a bar or something like that, like I still want a human touch.
1,000%. I couldn't agree with you more. I love you, and I love your human touch. Fuck Bob.
I love you. And yes, you do fuck Bob. This is life and shit.
This is life and shit. Do us a favor. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe. Leave a review. Let us know what your thoughts are. That's the only way that this show is going to be successful. And we appreciate you. Talk with you next time.